Good morning. So here I am. Today we are getting the new exhaust system on the truck. I also got a bully dog. Just warmed up. Now, there's some things I still have to work out with the bully dog, trying to get it all to install. I think my fuse is out because it won't power the bully dog when I put it in battery mode. So anyway, here we go. I'm gonna stand back. Now, keep in mind that this exhaust is broke, so it's not gonna sound like a stock exhaust anyway. We'll let this thing warm up a little bit. So that's the sound at idle. Stand over here. All right, I gotta get going. I'm supposed to be there already. So I gotta get Robin's coffee, and so I better get going. So I'll talk about the rest of what I've done after we get back with the truck with the new exhaust system. I haven't configured any of this for the truck with the new tires, but that's all right. It'll still tell me if there's a change. I'm gonna do a 0 to 60 performance, and then I'll do a 0 to 60 performance with the new exhaust, everything being the same, not programming anything on the truck yet, just to see what we can see on numbers. I didn't have time to finish configuring the whole thing. All right, there's my performance test numbers. So let's see how they do later. Here I am in Eckert, Colorado at Richard's Muffler and Brake Shop. Seems like a really nice guy. And let's just get one last shot of what the old exhaust system looks like. This is what started to fall off. The heat shield, it goes from a double down to a Y for a single. So he's going to cut it off here, do a muffler, do exhaust. All right. All right, here it is at idle with the new exhaust. I think it has a pretty good sound. I didn't go exactly with MagnaFlow. I just couldn't justify the price. Also, I was worried it might be a little too loud. Yes, maybe a little more of a performance muffler, but I was worried it'd be a little too loud. So what I ended up going with is Rumble Performance. So what I have now is Rumble Performance, which I guess is an offshoot of MagnaFlow, although they are not, they're chambered mufflers. So they're not gonna perform as well as a real MagnaFlow. They're a little dirty already. This is black chrome. I got black chrome on the exhaust tip. It's 2.5-inch pipe right here. And so originally it was like 3.5-inch. So we got dual 2.5-inch coming out of both sides. So let's take a peek down here and see what it looks like. So there it is up here by the spare tire. It's a little awfully close to the spare tire. But I'm going to be getting rid of that location for the spare tire, so it's not going to matter. If it's a problem, it won't matter much longer because the spare tire is actually on the small side now. I need to get a whole different way of mounting that. I'm going to put it in the bed. So let's go to the other side. So there's the old pipe. He welded in. And he brought this up a little higher, because before it used to be lower than this, so he brought this up higher. It goes at an angle. Yeah, so these are actually up higher than they were before. The old pipe, the old muffler came in here, and then it was below, so it would have been right about here. So we've got more clearance now with these up here like this. Definitely looks a little better than there. Yeah, I might hit that with black heat paint. So now let's play with the tuner. I haven't done anything with it yet. I want to just go out, and it's still at the default settings, which is the wrong tire size, basically stock. I'm going to go out and do the same tests I did the other day, see if there's any change. I was in tow haul mode. I don't know if that would make it perform better or worse. Keep in mind, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to do the same test and see if there's any difference. I would think that in tow haul mode, it's going to be working pretty much at a higher RPM, so if the exhaust is going to have any impact on performance, you would see it the most in tow haul mode over normal mode. I could be wrong, correct me in comments. I'm still learning. I will readily admit I don't know what I'm doing. That's just my assumption. I haven't read anything that says that, but I mean, tow haul mode makes it so you shift less and that you shift at higher RPMs. Higher RPMs means you can have more airflow going on, more coming in, more going out, which means if the performance muffler was going to have an impact, I would see a bigger impact in tow haul. That was my reasoning. Correct me if I'm wrong. There's my performance test from the same place I did it yesterday. It's a little better, I think. We'll put them here side by side so you can compare. The left-hand side is going to be the test I did yesterday. Weather was about the same as it is today. It is a little drizzlier today, but it was overcast yesterday and about the same temperature. So weather's about the same. Left-hand side was yesterday's reading before doing the exhaust change. The right-hand side is today's reading after the exhaust change. Unfortunately, I did not get my bully dog literally until late Tuesday night. And so I had very little time to actually get it connected. I didn't even get a chance to get it configured. So this is basically the stock test. So it's not accurate to this truck. I just wanted to see what kind of impact, if any, I would have by changing the exhaust. I had to change the exhaust anyway because it was falling apart. So the biggest benefit I see here is it sounds awesome, and I don't sound as much like a rattle can as I did when the exhaust was falling apart. So that was a plus. I needed it fixed. I didn't have to spend $730 with tax to do it. I could have just had a new muffler welded in place, but it still would have probably rattled. I would have just fixed the broken muffler. Some things I have observed. Obviously, this is not the right way to do the test. You should already have your bully dog configured, your truck set for the right tire size, all that stuff before even doing a before and after test, if you have the chance to do it. And you should do multiple runs and average it, like 3 or 4 runs and average out the times. And then when you do your change, 3 or 4 runs and average out the time. Also, preferably do it on the same day, closer to the same time period, so that weather doesn't impact it. Air is different today. It may not be significantly different, but it is slightly drizzling today compared to yesterday when it was just overcast. So there is more humidity today. That may impact things. So this is not scientific at all. This test doesn't really tell me anything except that I didn't hurt things by changing to the dual exhaust and that going with 2.5 pipes on both sides as opposed to the 1 3 1/4 pipe was not going to hurt anything. That's all it really tells me. You're going to see, I think, probably a half-second difference variance just in your normal tests, especially on a test that's taking, almost 15 seconds to do a quarter mile. And really, what does that mean? I don't think that putting the new exhaust on here, making it dual exhaust and with performance mufflers, I don't think with the 300 horsepower motor made a huge difference. We can look at the numbers and say, well, it looks like it's a little better now, and possibly it is, but because I didn't have a chance to do averages, we don't really know. It feels like it has more power, but that's psychological. Butt dynos don't mean anything. Okay? And a half second on the bully dog when I didn't have averages worked out doesn't really mean anything. Maybe it is a half second, but are you really going to feel a half second in a 15-second time period? Probably not. My takeaway from this, you saw me clean the throttle body. You saw me put the modular air intake. I went ahead and changed the air filter, not to a high flow air filter, but just to a good Wix air filter. I'm more concerned about keeping dust out of my engine than performance. And you saw me switch to the dual exhaust, dual muffler. While the vehicle does seem to, with all those changes, be performing a little better, starting a little better, and stuff like that, I don't think you're going to see a huge performance gain. Maybe I will see better gas mileage along the way, slightly, but I don't think it's huge. So, should you do those things? The air intake I did because the other one looked god-awful ugly. It took up a lot of room. It's a lot easier to work in there when you don't have to. I mean, it just looks better to get that garbage out of there. I didn't really notice it sound any different. It didn't sound more throaty to me or anything like that. If I wanted to put a performance air filter in there, I could without having to get a cold air intake, because where it is on this truck, it's pretty much the same as a cold air intake. It's just change the air filter and change the air intake tube, and you're good. So I now have options. If I wanted to, I could temporarily put a K&N filter in there or something. I'm not going to. But the exhaust, it sounds awesome. I'm very pleased with that. It's not obnoxious inside the vehicle, and it's not that obnoxious cracking loud. It's a nice low rumble kind of loud, and it doesn't make your ears want to bleed when you rev it up. It's loud, but it doesn't make your ears want to bleed, so that's a plus. And I do think that the car is idling a little better in cold since putting the new exhaust. And you saw the numbers. There might be a slight possibility of a performance increase. The plus with all these changes is, as I go forward and do more work or change things on the engine, if I do actually do something to the engine, my understanding is that with dual 2.5-inch pipes, I should be able to handle up to 400 and some horsepower with this exhaust system. So I won't have to be changing that anytime soon. Again, I don't remember the numbers off the top of these heads. This is just random research I've been doing. But the truck does rattle a lot less since getting this new exhaust system put on, and it's all anchored down nice and tight. So that is a plus. All right, I am going to go ahead and get my bully dog finished and configured. We'll get my truck programmed for the tires, and then we're going to see what our tests are.